Hello, my name is Matthew Navarro, and this is my essay video about my report. Uh, the topic introduction about my essay includes the area addresses the impacts of chemical exposures from additives and synergistic energies or effects on the public health and environmental health. So I'll be discussing that over today, that and within my review. So additives and synergistic effects. Additives are chemicals that are enhancing products' properties but potentially harmful to at certain levels. But synergistic effects is the inter relationships between chemicals that amplify the toxicity rates of every other thing that happens. And then the significance between those two causes toxicity levels within the environment, and it causes that to have impacts on human health in general. So it affects like the ecosystem and then distributes into human health and public health and so on and so forth. It would be like common things like plastics, like water bottle for PVC poisoning, or it could be a certain dosage of a medicine or a drug. How this relates to, in my paper I talk about how this relates between human health and how it relates to the environmental health. And environmental health, I'll be discussing both of them both ways. For environmental health, there are local effects and there's synergistic effects. So local effects would be if something that was potent or toxic and stuff like that. If local means around you, so it would be like skin irritation, or it'd be like it can range from skin irritations to getting hives and this and that, to going into internally, which would be respiratory problems and organ failure. And then this is what would happen if you get immediate access into the chemical fumes. But synergistic effects are long-term conditions, like what I was saying before, would be like organ damage, really slowly, like cancer. The neurological disorders, like you get schizophrenic or you have some kind of disability due to the chemicals within that are being distributed around. And then the impact for the environment would be chemicals in that home would be like companies polluting the environment, the air quality. It can be even just littering in waters and local water supplies and sewage that will cause water to be not as filtered and going into homes that will cause it for the consumption of humans. The dose response relationship between the chemicals explains how exposure levels determine the human health outcome. And then other than that, we have routes of exposure, which would be inflammation. I was saying earlier, intaking of it, the smelling of it, indigesting of it, that can cause for a cumulative risk assessment. Most interesting concept of the thing that I did in my report today, or previously, would be the key insight of the difference between synergistic effects and then local effects, and then how that applies for human health, environmental health of the exposure of chemicals that happen throughout the whole time. And it could be common things too, like perfume, lotions that have different kind of additives into it, and then even just drinking a water bottle if you left it in your car for a while. It's really interesting why I thought, because it reflects how people encounter multiple chemicals daily. So it couldn't just be like something that seems kind of suspicious. It could also just be something that's like a common everyday thing. That's what I thought was pretty insightful with my project. Public health implications would be acute health issues. Acute health issues would be like a skin irritation, like I said before, respiratory problems, and so on and so forth. And then chronic impacts. Chronic impacts would be long-term exposure, becoming neurological problems, and then cancer, and so on and so forth. Examples that I had in my report and case studies would be the BPA, which is found in plastics linked to the metabolic disorders, cardiovascular issues, and respiratory problems. And then burn accidents. In my report, I mentioned how there's a German scientist who had done an experiment that on two ladies on two different occasions. And that's, if you want to get to it, it's inside my report. It's about burn accidents to do with chemicals. So we realized real life incidents involving bioethanol fireplaces. Therefore, bioethanol is no longer used in homes. And then the call to action for this whole thing, my whole report, would have to be, the ongoing efforts that people have gone to kind of stop this chemical inflammation that's happening. It would be like public responsibility, like cleaning, filtering, make sure that fumes that come out will be more less harmful for the health of the environment and for humans. And in my paper, I give an example about how fumes that are given out into the atmosphere come down to us, causing global warming and then causing different kind of health issues, and that being with irrigation, with food scarcity, to be local at your home. And then the vision for a future would be the collaborative approach, ensuring healthier environments and safer products, like that are recyclable and at one-time use instead of it being all over and over again, damaging our beaches, water supplies, and everything else. And then for future generations. But yeah, thank you guys. This was my report. I hope you guys liked it. And